Come wish Marana a happy birthday at the annual Marana Founders Day Parade and festivities. Enjoy live music, historical and cultural attractions, and the biggest little parade in Arizona. We'll see you on Saturday, March 16th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Marana Main Street outside the Marana Municipal Complex. The parade starts at 10 a.m. Festivities follow it after. Visit maranaaz.gov/events for more information.
The town of Marana is dedicated to providing 5-star service for all residents, both 2- and 4-legged. Download the Marana Pets app to report a lost pet or upload a photo of a found pet. Start reuniting families today.
Welcome to Real Talk with the Town, where I sit down with the Marana staff to answer your burning questions about our beautiful community. My name is Terry Rozema, and I'm the town manager for the town, so let's get started.
Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk with the Town, where your host, Terry Rozema, once again is on the hot seat.
I'm back. Did I make you laugh?
You made me chuckle just a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. So it's good to be back. I'm excited to answer these questions, rapid fire. I'll try to do them as quickly as I can, but I'm a little nervous.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
But before we get started, then so you're not as nervous, we're going to start off with an icebreaker, Terry.
All right, I like that.
Okay, are you ready for this icebreaker?
I am. Is it going to be a dad joke?
Not a dad joke.
Okay.
I'm not a dad. I don't know any dad jokes.
Okay. You could have called Galen, though. Galen would have helped you out.
That's true.
Yeah.
So this is the second time we do a rapid fire episode.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, do you prefer hosting or are you excited to answer the questions?
Ooh, well, I am excited to answer the questions, but if you're asking me if I prefer to host versus being a guest, I would say I prefer to host. I actually kind of dig the host gig.
Well, you're really good at
fun.
hosting.
And actually, I think one of the reasons I like it is because I actually learn stuff from the people that come in, and that's always enjoyable. When I'm answering the questions, I'm not learning anything. I'm just spitballing off the top of my head.
Well, today's my turn to learn a lot of things from you.
Oh, I hope so. Man, the pressure's on now. Hey, so before we jump into these questions here, Andrea, did you introduce yourself to the listeners?
I did not. I just assumed everybody recognized my voice. But my name's Andrea de la Cruz. I'm the assistant to the town manager, a.k.a. Terry Rozema.
So you've been on the show once before, so you just assume everybody's going to know who you are.
Yes.
Well, they probably do. So we might be okay there.
I hope so. I think I have a few listeners that enjoyed my episode.
I'm sure. There's like 117, I think, that... I don't know.
Probably more than that.
Probably more than that? Okay. We'll go with that. All right. So what do we have?
Okay. Before we get started with some of the questions that we have received from our listeners, one thing that I'd like you to answer, and this is probably, I believe, our 48th episode. And initially when we started back in December, it's been a little over a year, we used to have episodes every single week. Every Tuesday, our listeners can listen to one of our episodes, and that hasn't been the case anymore. And I have heard a few people ask, why aren't we having weekly episodes? So is there a reason? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are we going to continue
Am I
with the
okay?
podcast? What's going on?
Well, that's a loaded question. Am I okay? A lot of people would say no, but I'm fine, and I love doing the show, and I'd love to do one every week for our listeners, but it really boils down to material and having things that people want to hear about. And so, for the first 6, 8, 9 months, really, we had so many things that were coming into us via questions that were intriguing, interesting, and we felt that the entire community would want to hear about. So we answered those questions. But if we don't get questions from folks, then we really don't have episodes to air. And so I think the podcast, to the point of why the podcast even started, and this was, really your brainchild along with Vic's here. The whole reason we started it was to be able to put to rest and to put to bed rumors that were out there. And so I think it's done a pretty good job because we haven't had nearly as many concerns and questions and things of that nature coming up. But if there's things out there that people want to know about, we're happy to do an episode about it. Some of them don't really rise to a full episode all by themselves, which I guess is why we're doing rapid fire here today to hit on some of those. But that's really the reason we haven't been able to do as many. It's just a lack of questions coming in from folks in the community.
Okay. But still, keep sending us your questions. If we don't address it through an episode or through this rapid fire style, sometimes we also just reply via email. So if you have a question, send them over and we'll get them answered for you. All right. So are we ready to get started?
Let's do it.
All right. So the first question that we have from a listener is, why are there so many entering and leaving Marana Town Limits signs? It seems like there must be about 100+ signs throughout the entire community. Every time a road weaves in and out of the town limits, there's a pair of signs. So what do you have to say to that?
Wow. It's actually 107. So I don't know.
Close.
I have no idea how many leaving and entering. So yeah, on Tangerine, there would just be one leaving and one entering. But there are some places throughout our jurisdiction where it does weave in and out. And a good example of that would be Twin Peaks heading on out to the high school. It goes into the county, back into the town limits, back out to the county, and et cetera. And I think the reason for that is it's quite simple. It really is to let people know because different jurisdictions take care of the roads in different ways. And if you have a concern with the roadway, you want to know what jurisdiction you're in so you know who to call. And I think also because we do a really good job of taking care of our roads, we want people to know that when you're entering and there's a difference in the road quality, that you're entering into a jurisdiction that is taken care of by the town of Marana. Likewise, if it's really bad and it indicates that you're leaving our jurisdiction, you know why the road perhaps is really bad. And then, of course, if you're entering our jurisdiction and the road isn't up to standards, you know who to call. You can reach out to us and say, hey, this road's got a lot of potholes or this road is getting really rough. And so it's just a demarcation, it's branding, it's making sure that people know where they're at in our community.
Good. So you're saying our town boundaries aren't a perfect circle or a perfect square? Or
Definitely
rectangle?
not a perfect square. I mean, we have some pretty jagged boundaries, kind of odd boundaries. We have a few little weird islands within the town limits. We'd like to be able to get rid of those, but that takes people willing to, be annexed. So those are things that we're always looking at to try and make the boundaries more simple. But it's a little bit more complicated than just annexing an area to square off boundaries.
Dust off your camping gear and spend a night under the stars at Rozema District Park starting April 20th through the following morning. Enjoy kid activities, a free movie, educational exhibits, s'mores, and a cowboy sing-along around the campfire. Earn prizes by participating in the tent decoration contest. This year's theme is The Wonder of Flight, brought to you in partnership with Marana Regional Airport. For more information, visit maranaaz.gov/recreation.
Enjoy live music in Marana every third Thursday in the fall and spring at the beautiful Marana Municipal Complex Courtyard from 5 to 7 p.m. With theme nights, food trucks, and attractions, this free concert truly is a family-friendly experience. Visit maranaaz.gov/events for the complete schedule.
Property crimes are often the result of opportunity. You can take action to help reduce crime by starting a Neighborhood Watch program. Neighborhood Watch serves as a guide for more eyes and ears in your neighborhood. Contact the Marana Police Department Community Resource Unit at 520-382-2055 for more information.
All right, question number 2. With the number of new businesses and restaurants moving into the Marana Main Street Sandario area, when can we expect Sandario to be expanded? The area is a mess, traffic-wise. Can we get ahead of the game instead of trying to fix it after the fact?
This is an outstanding question.
Great question.
Yeah, I drive that often, and I would agree with this listener that area is getting busier and busier, and there's work that has to be done. Now, I will say that there is help on the horizon. It's something we've been planning on now for quite some time, and we're in the middle of design for a 4-lane divided roadway that's not going to be Sandario. It is, however, going to be Tangerine Farms Extension. So Tangerine Farms will tie into the I-10, and that will be the main road that people, as they exit, they'll exit and come onto Marana, and then it'll tie right into Tangerine Farms. And that will be the road that will take you north and south. That will be the primary arterial roadway that will allow people to get north and south, and then they can turn off of that to come into the area where, say, Bisbee Breakfast Club and the dentist office and things of that nature are. The Sandario Road itself, there isn't a lot of room there, for one, but there is plans to do something once we have Tangerine Farms Road extension completed. And that will basically involve a 3-lane road so that you're able to have left turners get out of the way of north and southbound traffic. And that should alleviate a lot of the problems that we see on Sandario if we have Tangerine Farms Road extension in place first, and then we come along behind that and do Sandario Road.
And when do you think this will be completed? Do we know?
So in design right now, the plan is to start construction in 2025, I believe, the latter part of 2025, and it'll take a good 18 months for that portion of the road. It's a $22 million project right now. That cost will probably go up over the next year and a half a little bit, maybe 5 to 10%. It's in the plans. We're moving forward and really looking forward to that because I think it's going to open up a lot of potential and opportunities in North Marana.
Very exciting project for
Absolutely
all of
is.
North Marana.
Hugely exciting. I'm stoked about that one.
Awesome. Well, perfect. Next question. I-10 from Marana east and westbound have a large exposure of trash along the freeway. It really is an eyesore. What is the town's plan on picking up the debris today and maintaining the roadways in the future?
This is another excellent question, and it's one we get complaints and concerns about a lot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say a lot is an accurate description, Andrea. And it's a tough one to stay on top of, and we just recently cleaned it up. And the biggest problem for us is labor. And we have utilized the inmates, residents of the Marana prison out here. Before it closed down, we used the inmates to help us with that. And that was the way that we kept it clean. And ever since that closed down, well, first of all, during COVID, we didn't get any. And then once they opened back up, we got a lot less of them. And now the prison is closed, so we don't get any of them. So it really is a labor issue. Now we're trying to work with the local state prison to try and get additional inmates, and we're just not getting as many as we would like. So we're working with them to figure out exactly what we can do to make sure we can stay on top of that. Because once you clean it up, right, it looks nice for about 2 days. And then all the trash comes blowing across the desert and, infiltrates the medians and the shoulder, and it just looks horrible. So we do have a plan, and it is to increase our inmate labor so that we can do that on a scheduled basis, whether that's biweekly or monthly, whatever it's needed. So, but it's going to take us a while, according to the state prison, to build up our contingent of inmate personnel to help us with that.
Thank you. There's a plan. There's always a plan, right?
There is a plan.
There's a plan for everything.
And I wish that we could execute this plan tomorrow, but I'm not real hopeful. And I think it's probably going to be several months before we build this up to where we have a really solid maintenance plan. A lot of people don't realize the amount. I mean, we have 500 plus linear miles of roadway that our landscape crew have to take care of. So that's the medians, that's the shoulders, it's weed control, it's tree trimming, it's all of those things. And when you start talking about 500 linear miles, that's a lot. Now you add into that 17 miles of I-10, that's huge. And we can only do the shoulder. We can't do the median of the I-10. That's up to ADOT. They won't let us into the median. So they're the ones that have to clean that, and we do reach out to them and ask for their assistance with that. And they're good partners, but like us, it's a staffing issue and the ability to have enough people to be able to get to it.
Well, kudos also to our team. I know anytime we receive a comment or a resident saying that there's trash, they do their best to go out there and get it cleaned up.
I tell you what, that is a wonderful group of people, Woody and his entire crews. They do a phenomenal job. They work very hard. They take very seriously the appearance of our community, and they take it personal when it gets bad like that, and it bothers them. I know it does. And so my hat's off to them. They do a phenomenal job. They are really doing the very best they can.
Awesome. Well, one more question left.
Just one more. That's
Just
it?
one more.
Okay.
We only had 4.
All right.
This one's a fun one, at least based on my definition of fun. So this next
Does that
question...
mean it's going to make me squirm or it's going to make me sweat or what does that mean?
We'll see. But this next question is related to the fastest growing sport in America. Do you happen to know what sport I'm talking about?
Well, I don't know that I consider it a sport. Personally, I consider it a game. I consider it a game more than a sport. That's just me.
Can we get this cut out before our listeners hear this?
You think they're going to be mad at me? Monopoly is a game. It's not a sport. That's my guess. Is it Monopoly?
It is definitely not Monopoly.
It's not Monopoly. Oh my gosh. Well, I was way off. What is it?
Pickleball.
Oh, pickleball. Should have known. Our listeners want to what? They want
to know when
if I'll play pickleball with them? I mean, what are we getting at here?
Maybe after this question, they'll ask you that. When is Marana going to start a year-round pickleball league so we don't have to go to other cities to play?
Well, that's a great question. We actually do have a couple of leagues. I think we have a summer league and a fall league. And they are over at Rozema Harn Park, where we have, I believe, 3 pickleball courts. And then we have a tennis court that I think we also utilize and put a couple of pickleball courts on there. So maybe as many as 5 pickleball courts that we're utilizing for those leagues. And I tell you, it's one of those things where you want to kind of balance them because we are parks and recreation. And there's people that like to compete. You know, I would be one of those people. I love competition, right? Mm-hmm. And then there are people that just want to do it for the fun. So trying to balance leagues with just your average resident that wants to go out there and hit the ball around on the court, making sure that they have time to get out there as well as the people that want to do it in a league. That's the balance. Now, I will tell you, and this is about as exciting as it gets, we have a community center and aquatic center. Most of our listeners already know this. And it is being built right now. It is going vertical. It's fantastic. It's amazing. It's exciting. I don't know how else to say it.
You sound like Jim Conroy right now.
Do I sound like Jim Conroy? I can only hope I would sound like Jim Conroy. There's nobody more passionate about Parks and Recs, ladies and gentlemen, than Jim Conroy. And we are excited about this because it is going to allow us to do a lot more in the area of league play, not only pickleball, but basketball leagues and things of that nature. So once that gets completely constructed, which will be completed sometime in the spring of 2025, so we're a little over a year away from that, and we'll start doing more of those pickleball leagues here. So that is exciting. That being said, if there's somebody out there that wants to start a league, we're always interested in working with the residents of our community to get something going. If it makes sense for the town, if it makes sense for the amenities that we have, and we can balance it out between people that want league play versus those that just want to recreate, we're game. And I say that with extreme confidence because I know our Parks and Recs folks, I know Jim Conroy, I know Wayne Barnett, and they're always looking for opportunities to partner with the folks of our community.
Yeah, reach out to Terry Rozema if you need a teammate. I'm sure he'd gladly
challenging me to a pickleball game, are we?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm game. I'm probably not very good, though. I have to be honest. I've only played a couple of times, but I am competitive. So I might hurt myself in the process, but I'll give it 110%.
As long as you win, right?
Yeah. Even if I don't win, I'm going to give 110% because I'm competitive. So I don't like losing. I'm a sore loser.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Well, that was our last question.
That was
does
it?
Wrap up rapid fire episode.
Yeah. So Andrea, you've gotten to host now. Have you? I can't remember. Have you been on the show before as a guest? You have, right?
As a guest, no.
Not as a guest, no.
I only a host.
Okay. Well, I was going to throw back your little question to me to start off. Whether you like hosting, are you hosting the second time? Is it more comfortable for you?
Definitely more comfortable. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Well, I enjoyed it. It wasn't. I wasn't as nervous as I thought
These
it was going to be.
questions weren't tough.
Yeah,
you did good.
Yeah, you got me there. Those weren't really tough questions. So, but if our listeners have some tough questions,
send them over to us.
we want to hear them. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, listeners, we appreciate you joining us. Send in those questions to us. We want to hear from you. Until next time.
Submit your questions by visiting maranaaz.gov/realtalk and we'll answer them right here. To receive notifications for new releases, remember to click subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Also, please follow the town on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date on current news and events.